Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing on this Tuesday morning? This is Reganelite here. Hello, everyone. How you guys doing? Hope you guys all doing well. Hope you had a nice Monday. It is Tuesday, so we're getting into the meat of the week. Hope you guys are all doing well. We're going to cover today's daily quota. We're going to look at the weather, see what the weather patterns are saying for most of the week and what we're expecting. And also going to be looking at UK news specifically today, guys. A reminder that I'll also be going live later on today for global news at 6 p.m. So if you guys can join me for that, please feel free to do so. Just going to say hello to everyone in the chat. Good morning, Scott. There, good to see you there. Bloody Tommy Temnane's found not guilty. More fuel for the Flash. What? I didn't see that story. We'll have a look at that later. Thanks for that, Scott. Matty Von Erich, good morning to you. Hope you are doing well. Stephen Banker, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Ellie, good morning to you. Alison Keir, good morning to you. How are you? Good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. One of our moderators. And anyone listen to Kemi's speech? I did not listen to Kemi's speech. I have not. So of that, I saw clips obviously of yesterday of Nigel Farage's speech. Janet, good morning to you as well. Yep, and anybody else who may be lurking in the chats. Right, let's get going. Just for reference, for those who are new to this live stream, we only go about an hour long, and I've already kind of run down what we're going to be talking about anyway. But yeah, we always stop at 12 o'clock just for reference here. So here is today's daily quota. Here it is here. You can see it there. So I don't make them up, and so just for reference there. Theodore Sis Gazel. Someone's going to say that's not how you pronounce it, Regan, but I know I'm terrible. And by the way, again, if you want one for yourself, you can get one at www.littlepennythoughts.com if you want to get one for yourself there as well. Scott Hayes, good morning to you and everyone else in the chat. I'm getting loaded with firewood at Sterling. We'll catch up later in the show. No worries, Scott. Everyone, no worries, Scott. Thanks for popping in. Much appreciate it. Today's daily quota is: sometimes you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. Sometimes you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. That's a really powerful one. And it definitely, when you think about moments in your life, it really, really makes you value it so much more. You know, the moments that we have with people and whatnot. It is a very powerful quote, a lovely one there. I really appreciate that one. John, good morning to you. Hope you are doing well. Thank you for popping in. Much appreciate. Oh, tomorrow's one's a nice one. Tomorrow's one's from Bev. From Bev. Tomorrow's one is. Right, guys, let's get started. Let us see what's happening with the weather today. Interestingly enough, yeah, it didn't really clock on me when I was talking about the weather yesterday. Dave McGinnis kind of highlighted it when he mentioned it here. Temperatures are far too warm for November, and again, it shows an example of just like how bad the climate change is. Because this should all be, there should be snow. There should be snow. There should be parts of Scotland covering snow. It's November. We're not getting that. Are they getting enough snow in Switzerland, for example? No, I'm blaming the climate change. I mean, this is today, right? This is today. This is 6 o'clock is what the time is expecting. These are you got the winds and you got the temperatures there. And if you just look in terms of Europe here, Madrid is 16, still 16. Lisbon, 21 degrees. Now, granted, obviously it's near Africa, but still. Rome 15, Nice 17, Zagreb 8, Vienna 9, Prague 8, Berlin 10, Bern 7. Still 7. It's not like much colder. Paris 14, Warsaw 8 there. Oslo only 12. Reykjavik 3. It should be much chillier than that, to be fair. I feel it should be much chillier. Much chillier than that. And if we look right here for today, guys, as I said, this week, you're not even going to need the heating on at all this week. You're not going to need the heating on at all. Look, these are the temperatures we're getting. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, yeah, we're going to get rain today in some parts of the UK, specifically Wales and England are going to get it here. But maybe some parts of Scotland, but mainly us here and down the south. But overall, temperatures are warm for November. This is not ideal. It's not good at all, guys. Yeah, so in terms of today, so if you live in Wales or if you live in the southwest of England, you live in the parts of the Midlands, please be aware of the rain. Probably rain won't be coming until about the afternoon. There will be some scattered showers up in Scotland. If I just have a look here, yeah, there's a bit of scattered showers throughout the day as well that Scotland will experience as well there, and some of that rain obviously will be coming in there. But this is late overnight, Tuesday night tonight as well. Yeah, this big massive rain is going to be coming over here. But yeah, if you live in this part of the UK, just be aware of that. Going into the next day though, overnight into the next day, again, like I said, you're not going to need the heating on for the temperatures. But going into the next day here, into 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock here, some scattered showers, nothing too drizzle. Parts of northern England, parts of Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales are going to be experiencing it here. Luckily, I'm going to miss it. But for those up in Scotland, we can see this patch of rain is going to be coming right over the country at all completely there. Pretty much all throughout the day. So it looks like pretty much all day. Is it all day rain? Pretty much all day. You're going to get rain tomorrow up in Scotland. And parts of England are going to get rain throughout most of the day as well. Some parts are not going to be quite dry as well. I think it'll be dry mainly from where we are, from where I am here. But yeah, some breezing, but yeah, you're going to get pretty much rain all day if you're living up in Scotland. But for the rest, most other parts of the UK, parts of it will be dry, some of it will be not too bad there. But if we go into the next day, into Thursday here, going from that overnight, again, you can see the temperatures are just not dropping. They're not dropping. Again, another night where you will not need the heating. You will get so overnight there'll be early Thursday morning some showers, parts of Northern Ireland, parts of Scotland there, nothing too much there. And little bits in England there, we can see a little bit patches of it here in England as well. But yeah, there's a bit of patches later on Thursday as well. But most of the day should be okay. Most of the parts of the UK will be dry, shall we say. I would say that. And again, temperatures, look, 17 degrees on a Thursday afternoon. It's just insane. It's just absolutely insane. Let me just have a quick look. What's the other countries are just saying, just in terms of temperatures here? Oslo is 11. Bern is 11 still. Madrid, Lisbon, it's 12 and 18. Interesting. Just having an interesting reference. What's Iceland saying? Vakovic is still 3. Okay. Just having a curiosity there. Just kind of interesting to see what temperatures are changing there. Moving overnight into Friday morning there. Nice dry Thursday night into Friday here. Temperatures will drop a little bit. But again, not if you're in London, it's not too bad. Edinburgh, a bit chilly at 10. Belfast, Dublin, 9 there. So it's going to drop a little bit there. For early Friday morning, it'll be a little bit more chillier at 12 degrees. So temperatures are going to drop on Friday. So from Thursday night into Friday morning, temperatures will drop a little bit. So you may be, depending on your circumstances and other people's circumstances, might need the heating on. But it depends there. So Thursday night, Friday morning might be a bit more chillier for you guys. So temperatures will be dropping that day. But as we move into Friday morning here, not too much rain at the moment forecast, but maybe a bit later on in the afternoon. Yeah, in the evening there. Looks like late Friday evening, parts of Wales and Ireland and Northern Ireland will be getting it. Parts of England will get it as well. But nothing there that's really going to be too much of a hassle there. Scotland doesn't look like they're going to get any rain. Maybe a couple of drops of showers on Friday, but mostly dry there. Moving into Saturday here, overnight, again, temperatures are not too bad here. Again, 12 degrees. Okay, Edinburgh 9, Belfast 9, Dublin 9, Manchester 11, Cardiff 10. Nothing too serious there overnight there from the looks of it. Into the weekend here. It doesn't look like there's much rain forecast at all. There's going to be a little bit up in Scotland. And then just a quick nose for Sunday here. Sunday, we're expecting temperatures Saturday night. Temperatures dropping again there from the looks of it there. So, and again, doesn't look like there's going to be any rain again. So it looks like this weekend coming up, guys, we're going to have probably mostly a rain-free weekend. So be a little bit chilly, but nothing too serious. So if you wanted to make any plans without the rain, perhaps some outdoor plans, you could get away with it for the weekend, possibly. But it's still early days, so a bit closer to the time, I'll definitely let you guys know for sure those weather patterns. I am making soup, but listening too. Yeah, it's totally fine. That is totally good. What kind of soup are you making for us, Jeanette? I want to know. We want to know who is having what soup. Generally curious. Homemade soup is delicious. Yes, it is indeed. It is indeed. And everyone else is just saying good morning. Breeze is fabulous though. Lying here, windows open, breeze, and over it is lovely. Yeah, the breeze. Yeah, can yeah. I haven't. I think last night I didn't open the window, but this morning, last night I didn't have the window open, but this morning I did. I haven't been for my walk today. I'm going to be doing that after lunch as well. Right, let's have a look and see what some of the news has been saying here. Going to start with the Times, guys. Have a look and see what the Times are saying. Can't open up any articles because they're behind a paywall, but we'll just see what the headlines they have here on their page here from the Times. We all have to do our bit. Reeves tells the nation. Chancellor lays out our priorities for the autumn budget while paving the way for higher taxes across the board. The clearest signs of tax rises to come, even if Reeves couldn't quite say it. I was in a coma and my son was critically ill. My birth trauma, an interview there. Reeves paid away for manifesto breaking tax rises. Jeremy Corbyn accused of hypocrisy for backing Mandabi as New York mayor. Okay, I don't know what the hypocrisy is, but you know, I really hope Mandabi wins. You know, I'm just gonna say this. Like, I really hope he wins today. I'm gonna talk a little bit about it later on today. I'm quietly confident. I don't want to jinx anything because, you know, it seems obvious he's shoe on to win, but there's always that what if possibility. Britain records Europe's biggest increase in asylum claims. At times it felt like Nigel Farage was even boring himself. Well, maybe he should just, you know, stop talking. Reforms councils to raise taxes for 2 million households despite pledging cuts. Like what they said they made promises that they can't keep. You put them in and they're already making things worse off for you. Like, if you are a reform voter, like how do you explain this? You're getting an increase in council tax. How does this benefit you? They told you something. They told you one thing, and now they're doing the other. This is why you can't trust them. Let's just see what the front of UK they've got. London restaurant using admin charges to dodge tipping rules. Borough Market clamps down on influencers on online roasting. This is London stuff here. Scotland, Salmon's firm was paid 30 grand a week for Kremlin-backed TV show, according to them. Footballer waited 10 hours for ambulance after a knee injury. 10 hours? Jesus, how the hell did that happen? 10 hours wait. Oh, God. Royal family, not interested. Healthcare, walking more than 3,000 steps a day slows Alzheimer's symptoms. 3,000 steps a day. I try to average 10,000, but there are some days where I don't do enough walking at all. But yeah, I think that's. I don't know if that's true, but I do encourage walking whenever you possibly can. Yeah, it's very good for your health, especially when you're a bit older. I do think that's really, really important. School heads call for blanket ban on smartphones. Labour to scrap English, encouraging art subjects. China pressure UK universities into ditching human rights report. Trash talking children are sounding like Americans, says teacher. Yeah, that's because they're playing a lot of video games that are based off America. It's the video game. That's the video game stuff. And if you're listening to YouTubers and Twitch streamers from America more, then you end up starting talking a bit more like them as well. That's where that's coming from. That is where that's coming from. Train attack hero. I thought he's not getting past me. It's as simple as that. Bless the man's soul. Saved a lot of lives he did in what he was doing. Huntington stabbing. Police failed to catch a suspect a day earlier. That's the suspect apparently there. Absolutely insane. How safe are UK trains? Assaults triple in a decline since 2014-2015. Train employee praised for life-saving heroics in Huntington stabbing. Yeah. Yeah, did not need to happen. Lentil soup. Thank you for sharing. Right, let's have a look and see what the BBC is saying for us today, guys. Rees refused to rule out tax rises in budget as she says she will make necessary choices. Let's have a quick look at the live report. Seems likely from this morning's speech that Chancellor Rachel Reeves is planning to raise taxes, but she carefully avoided giving any details about which could go up. Yep, she's going to wait till the budget. Problem is that she needs to raise substantial amount of money. The easiest way to do so is to increase one of the big revenue raisers, income tax, national insurance, or VAT, but Labour's general election manifesto has promised not to do that. Putting 1p on the basic rate of income tax, for example, would raise £7 billion or £8 billion a year, according to the government's calculations. Putting 1p on a higher rate would raise about £2 billion a year. If the Chancellor is ignoring these three budget revenue raisers in the next four biggest are corporation tax, council tax, business rates, and fuel duties. The Institute for Physical Study think tank says that raising tens of billions of pounds in taxes without breaking Labour's manifesto pledge would be difficult but not impossible, but warned that many of the tax rises options outside the big three would have particularly damaging effects on growth and welfare. Economic points. Raised on speculation about terrorism and important economic points on Chancellor's speech. First, while respecting Bank of England, she seemed to push the case for further rate cuts. Interest rates now been cut 5 times. They're at 40%, but there's still a constraint on businesses and borrowing out burden on family finance, she said. In an already unusual speech, to do this 2 days before the bank decides on rates is noteworthy. Chancellor is sensitive about the independence of Britain's economic institutions. She said her budget will focus on getting inflation down to help create conditions of interest rate cuts to support economic growth and improve the cost of living. The bank is not widely expected to cut on Thursday, but they will consider the case. A cut in December is looking more likely. She also confirmed that the change to the Office of Budget Responsibility, the OBR's assumptions about Britain's long-term economic performance, measured by economic output and her per hour worked, or productivity, would be the biggest single move part in the budget maths. As we previously reported, a downgrade on UK productivity performance from the government's official forecaster could lead to the Chancellor facing a £20 billion black hole in the public finances. Are we ready to discuss human rights law changes? Top ECHR boss tells the BBC. The political head of the body that oversees the European Convention on Human Rights has told the BBC that it's absolutely ready to discuss reforms amid pressure from the UK and other countries over migration. Speaking exclusively to the BBC, Alan Bassay, the General Secretary of the Council of Europe, predicted that quitting international human rights laws would leave the UK isolated on the world stage. He acknowledges human rights laws may need to change and adapt to the institutions whose creations were largely led after Britain's World War II, but remain crucial to peace, security and justice. Bassay was ahead of the Convention's 75th anniversary, are the most public confirmation that the body would involve amid mounting debate over its future across the continent. It is also publicly reconciliation that has to talk to the UK about its future and about potential change. Council, which is unrelated to the European Union, is the international political body in Strasbourg that oversees and enforces the work of the European Court of Human Rights. The Court's rules on how to interpret human rights laws in its 46 member states in the UK government and the UK, the government and judges must take these rulings into account. They are not bound by judgment and do not closely relate to the circumstances. So Keir Starmer's government has committed to changing how the government interprets the right for privacy and family life so that it can't be used by illegal immigrants to frustrate their removal from the country. In a speech earlier this year in Strasbourg, Sabina Mahmoud, the then Justice Secretary, now Home Secretary, said the convention itself must evolve to maintain public confidence. The Conservatives and Reform Russia are calling for the UK to walk away from the treaty, claiming Strasbourg human rights laws is a block on managing borders. 9 EU nations led by Denmark and Italy have also called for major changes, which would need the agreement of all member states. Let's engage on migration issues and see what we need to address and maybe to change. The most important point is to be ready to speak to all the issues without taboo, to see what could be possible consensus between member states. Chris of the HCR said the advantages of leaving for the UK would be to take back control over human rights laws. This is bollocks. I'm so sick of the bollocks they're saying about taking back control. We left the EU to take back control, and they're still arguing we haven't taken back control. Like people. I really hope people aren't thick enough yet to believe this, but unfortunately there are. He said while he would not comment on internal politics in the UK, he appealed for the debate over the ECHR to return to facts. Yeah, whether they will pay attention to the facts is another thing, but they're not. Then there's a lot of it not being paid a lot of it's not being paid common sense to as well. Online porn showing choking to be made illegal, government says. Yep. I don't think anyone has any argument with that. That should be pretty obvious. I don't know why it's not illegal already. I'm sorry. I don't know why it's not illegal already. That just drives me crazy. Calls for legal rights to be paid leave for the IDF treatment. Labour MPs back gambling tax to fight child poverty. Yeah, what's wrong with the gambling industry paying a bit more tax? Mandelson was not interviewed for the US ambassador job. He was never interviewed for it. They basically said to Donald Trump and his cronies, he's a good friend of Jeffrey Epstein. Hire him, is what they said. That's literally what happened. No, I don't know actually what happened. Hillsborough victims failed by the state, says Prime Minister. Yep, we know that. Huge tax cuts not currently realistic, Farage says. Yep, that's him getting out of that hole with the speech he made. England's most private areas have been named. And Laura Queensberg, who's too chicken to interview Zach Polanski. Actually, let's have a quick look at the front of UK, actually, there. This is a story that someone that Scott mentioned earlier. Tommy Robinson cleared of terror offences after not giving police access to his phone. He's been found not guilty of a terror offensive and not giving police access to his phone. The 42-year-old who was charged under real name Stevie Lackey was stopped by officers at Channel Tunnel, Folkestone, while driving a silver Bentley. Police became suspicious of Robinson's vague replies about his travel plans and demanded access to his iPhone under Section 7 of the Terrorism Act. Westminster Magistrates Courts heard the officers who detained Robinson had no real recollection of questions asked during the 40-minute stop on 28th of July. The court heard the police failed to record the selection criteria for stopping him and appeared fundamentally unclear about the use of Section 7 powers. The judge said the stop gave the impression of an arbitrary decision based on who you are and concluded that it was actually what you stood for and your beliefs that acted as the principle for the reason for the stop. So the judge, based on the case here from the judge, is that the police stopped him because of who he is and not for a specific reason. And unfortunately, they can't force him to unlock the phone, unfortunately. Good morning, Reg. Hope you are doing well. That's how he's able to walk out. It's frustrating, but yeah, unfortunately, I don't know what more we can do. A train hero who saved passengers during the attack has been named. The rail worker credited for saving multiple lives during the mass stabbing on the train has been named as Samir Yusko. The 48-year-old actions on the Doncaster King's Cross service on Saturday was described as nothing short of heroic. Mr. Zoe remains critically unwell but stable in hospital, British Transport Police said. Anthony Williams from Peterborough was charged on Monday with 10 counts of attempted murder. 6 of those have been discharged, 4 remain in stable condition. His actions were incredibly brave. We're so proud of him and all our colleagues who acted with such courage. That Angel, our thoughts and prayers will remain with Sam and his family. Will continue to support them, wish them a full and speedy recovery. Mr. Zelensky has worked for the LNER for more than 20 years. He's been there for a long time, 20 years. In a statement, his family said, "We're immensely proud of Sam and his courage. The police call him a hero on Saturday evening, but to us, he's always been a hero." Well, I hope Talk TV and the likes of the right wing give him the praise he deserves there as well. Yeah, I hope he gets the recognition he deserves from all sides of the spectrum there, and not used as a political football in some way, shape, or form. Couple took in 6 passengers after the train attack. Couple took who live minutes from Huddersfield, live minutes from the station, described how they took in train passengers running from the knife attack. 1 in 6 people knocked on the door. The door had blood on her clothes, with another saying it so distraught. And we are just every day that any could help everyone. I'll bless this couple for helping them. Yeah, they ran for their lives, and the couple took them in obviously quite a panic here for them. Bless them. Good morning, Billy Kershaw. Hope you are doing well. More people using family help than buy now, pay later loans. People turn to family and friends for money and are more often than buy now, pay later loans. A new survey suggested, as for most of them, it was less than £250. Well, you know, loans, there's a massive cost for that as well. A survey of more than 4,000 adults commissioned by non-profit Fair for All Finance, shared exclusive to BBC, found that 25% of all respondents had taken out a buy now, pay later loan. 26% had borrowed from family and 15% from friends this year. Many relied on friends and relatives because they had been turned down by traditional services like banks, but some of those loans still come with interest. Yes, the interest is the killer thing there. It's pretty brutal there, to be fair. What else we got here? Vapors overtake smokers for the first time in Britain. Well, I'm not surprised considering we're banning smoking, or we're planning on banning smoking completely. So that's not a surprise at all. I don't think anyone should be with that. Second day disruption after train derailment. Train passengers are facing second day of major disruption after a Glasgow to London train derailed, seemingly after hitting a landslip. Yeah, on Monday morning. Yeah, it's going to take a while for the. It's going to be disruption for a while. That's just the reality is. But most importantly, that collision didn't really. Luckily, nobody died. Nobody was seriously injured, so everyone was pretty okay after that. After that one, which is important. Publisher apologizes to author Kate Lunchy 4 years after book controversy there. Any other stories? Any other stories we haven't read about? Health Board facing unprecedented financial challenges. The auditors warn there in Scotland. Bin inspectors check one home rubbish. Check every home rubbish in one area. Seaside village in shock after man killed, says MP in Northern Ireland there as well. Those are just some of the stories there from the BBC. Let's see what the Independent has for us in just a moment. I wish people were a little more aware in it. Things can be so different, Scott says. What's that student bank saying? My brother warned him and his missus about voting Conservative. Was proven right. Warned them about Labour. Was proven right. They are now and they are now hinting voting reform. I've banned all the conversations. It's one thing when you if you keep getting told this is not a good idea, this is not a good idea, and this is not a good idea, and you're still voting the wrong way. Yeah, that's a real shame. Wait, hold on a second. I'm using the wrong feed. Hold on, let me fix that. Bloop. There we go. This is the Independent here. Well, we got the hunt there. What taxes could rise at the next budget? Chancellor budget. Ex-minister apologises for trusting Israel over the death of Palestinian. Former minister issues extraordinary apology for trusting Israel over the killing of a Palestinian's angel of mercy. Alistair Burt admits she should have been more bold in calling out Israel over the death of a 21-year-old paramedic who was shot dead near the Israel-Gaza border while rushing to treat a wounded man. A former Conservative minister has accused Benjamin Netanyahu's government of murdering a young Palestinian nurse known as the Angel of Mercy in an extraordinary U-turn, having previously refused to criticise Israel over the death. Alistair Burt also accused Israel of conducting bogus inquiries into her death and that of other Palestinians involved in the Israeli Defense Force as a meaning of covering up killings. Mr. Burt, who served as Middle East Minister in Theresa May's Conservative administration, said he and her government were wrong not to call out Israel over the death of paramedic Razin al-Naiga, 21, in Palestinian protests on Gaza's border with Israel in 2018. She was fatally shot going to the aid of a wounded demonstrator, prompting international outrage and posthumous fame for characteristic Nigeria. A United Nations investigation found reasonable grounds to believe she was shot deliberately by the IDF. When the incident occurred, Mr. Burt, then the Home Foreign Office Minister responsible for the Middle East, refused to criticise Israel, merely urging them to investigate the matter. Moreover, he pointed the finger at blame at the Palestinians, arguing extremist elements exploited the protests of their own violent purposes. However, in a remarkable public confession, Mr. Burt now said he regrets these grim actions, claiming he is now certain that Niger was clearly targeted and murdered by Israel. He added that Israel pledges to investigate this and other killings or where bogus, and he and the British government have been wrong to trust Israel's denials. Asked why he failed to condemn Israel's actions when Niger was killed, pained Mr. Burt said, "I know exactly what I did. I know why I did it, and it's grim. You did it because, you didn't want to criticize Israel. I have thought about this a lot. The strongest memory I have was the shooting of a young paramedic. She was clearly targeted and murdered by the Israelis." Mr. Burt said he and the British government have made a grave error in taking the Netanyahu administration at its word. when he said he would investigate and own up if it found the IDF that was to blame for their death. Like, given what's been happening over the last several years, like the kind of like the writing's been on the wall for how the IDF conduct themselves and the Israeli government conducts itself, because they've broken countless international laws. Like, the more they were allowed to get away with things, the more easier it is for them to do these things. But we are talking about something that happened in 2018. But even so, there wasn't enough accountability then. He had no such intentions, he says. This is another similar promise that official inquiries were all useless and worse, nothing more than a senile device to conceal the truth. We rely on the Israeli response, and I know about every shot that was fired by the IDF. My suspicion then, since confirmed, is that these investigations were effectively useless and used as a cover by the Israelis for the killing and cover-up such as this. I knew UK should be more bold in calling this out. Well, it's too little too late now. It would have been nice if you had said this a lot sooner. I mean, yes, I appreciate you finally saying this now, but you should have said it at the time. And you didn't. You didn't say it at the time. You should have said something then. I mean, we're talking about 7 years ago now. Prime Minister was briefed on Madison's links to Epstein's PM told. This is bollocks. I'm sorry. Keir Starmer knew about the links. Keir Starmer knew about the links. He knew there were links. He should have. He knew about links here. Thank you, Alison Kidd, for the £2 super chat. Wee bit needing to wait for payday. No, don't be silly, Alison. You don't. If you need to. I appreciate the £2 super chat. Honestly, it's fine. Not everyone can. Support. Like if you can help me get thank you so much for the £2 super chat, guys. Just a reminder, if you want to help me get to today's super chat goal, it'd be greatly appreciated if you guys can help. It helps support me, supports the channel, supports the work that I do. So if you can, feel free. If you can chip in, feel free to do so. Obviously, I'll make sure your comment gets read out as well. There. So if you can help, please do. Let me just adjust my chat filter. It's always on. It's always on top and not all. So I don't always see every single comment, which is stupid. Israel lie about everything. Yeah, Israel does lie about everything. Good morning, Martin. Hope you're doing well. Take care of an appointment. No need to reply, so I won't see it. All right, no worries, Ellie. Thanks for popping in. Let me just read a bit of this. So Keir Starmer has been briefed on the details of Peter Melson's relationship with the paedophile financier Jeffrey Epstein before making him a US ambassador, a select committee had heard. Prime Minister was said to have received a Cabinet Office report referencing the reputational risk of appointing Lord Melson, which included his previous resignation as a minister and his prior relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. This section includes direct extracts from the media reporting and notes of general reputational risk. The Cabinet Minister, Sir Chris Wilmot, told the Foreign Affairs Committee on Monday. I was also told that he did not even have an interview, didn't he, Peter Manson? He didn't even have an interview as well, which is to kind of just add to this as well. So Chris indicated that the judgment about whether to make the appointment rested with the Prime Minister. He was sacked a day after. Yep, we know why he was sacked. Ties to Epstein. Yep. So Toll's permanent underscoring the FCDO was a process that has taken place within the Cabinet Office and ensuring the Prime Minister was aware of Lord Manderson and the issues around the appointment. There was a process of clearing his conflict of interest, which the Employment Department oversaw, and actually in parallel with the process also went through the standard UK national security vetting process for DV. So I think one of those processes that we can confidently say the relationship with Jeffrey Epstein surface was one of those processes. Okay, we're not at liberty to say whether it would have covered up during the national security vetting process. He knew. He never was going to say it publicly, Keir Starmer, but he knew. He knew he was a risk. He knew he was a risk, and he still appointed him. He still appointed him. Tommy Robertson found not guilty. Yeah, unfortunately. Simon Bates agrees compensation deal over Horizon scandal. Prince Andrew late is there. Pound plummets as Chancellor signals incoming tax hikes are great. Cost of living cuts millions for households are having to make. Trump comments on Mandabi take a weird turn into appearance. I'm going to talk about that later on today, that and other things as well. Wife of UK journalist detained by ICE fears for his health after... Yeah, he's still being held, last I checked. We spoke about it yesterday, still being held the last I checked as well. What Nigel Farage gets wrong about alarm clock Britain, he gets a lot of things wrong. He just says things and people believe it. That's the silly thing. That is the silly thing there. Let's have a look at what the FT has to say today, guys. How long's it been since the mess up with the... guys, how long has it been since the your party messed up with the membership? How long's it been? It's been what, a few months? It's been a few months since Zara Sultana has tried to set up her own membership here. Since that complete mess up. And they're still waiting for fees to be refunded. Still. Zara Sultana and her co-founder Jeremy Corbyn, they will transfer most of the money to the Upstart Party. Okay. Starmer fuels expectations of income tax rise in budget. It's supposed to be their conference this year, this month, isn't it? They're finally having their conference this month, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it crashed and burned, you know, considering how much of a cluster this is the whole thing has been. Starmer fuels expectations of income tax rises in budget. Police look at trained attack suspect, possible link to other knife crimes. NHS productivity falls even as hospital efficiency in England rises. Contrasting data points to gains in part of the health service not extending across the wider sector there. Chinese intimidation stopped UK universities from publishing human rights report. Sheffield Harlem staff raised concerns about the impact on international student recruitment. And Farage drops tax cut plan to focus on slashing public spending. Yeah, which we talked about yesterday evening as well. What's the front of the FT has here? The meaning of Zoran Mondavi. He's been very busy. Reed's preparing break manifesto pledges. Norway's oil fund to vote against Elon Musk's $1 trillion pay deal at Tesla. Spanish politics, not really interested in that, thank you, personally. Israel pursues bill to hand government more control of media. What could possibly go wrong there? Yeah, that's definitely democratic. Yeah, the government taking more control of the media in your country. That's definitely it. ABF explores spinning off Primark fashion chain. OpenAI strikes £38 billion computing deal with Amazon. Israel military former top lawyer arrested over leaked prisoner video. I knew that. I knew she would get arrested over it. The Justine zombie trust woos to spread to the Caribbean. New EU members could be put on probation, says officials. Sudan civil war atrocities cast a spotlight on the UAE. Crypto decentralized finance risk as sector warns at risk of attack. They've been warned. Australia to force energy groups to offer free daytime electricity there. BP Post says lower oil prices will not derail oil major turnaround efforts as well there. Those are some of the stories there from the FT, from the Financial Times. Let's have a look and see what... can we open this up? Let me just refresh it one more time. The upstart, your party surely should read restart up party, not hiding their bias. There's just, it's just been, I just think it's just like, I really like, I understand that sometimes it's not, there's going to be blips, but I just feel like there's more internal factions going on inside your party than anything else, which is why I just can't take it seriously. Like, don't get me wrong, the Green Party are not perfect. There are problems on the inside. Like, if you think there aren't problems, like I've talked about the Green Parties, there are internal problems on the inside, but the difference is that they keep it behind closed doors. It's a lot of it seems to be out in the open for their party once they get going, whatever it is their name is going to be. Reid refused to say if she will stick to manifesto pledges on tax rights and insists that she must face the world as it is. Sir Alan Bates agrees multi-million-pound settlement over the post office scandal. The government settles claim from former post office operator more than 20 years after beginning his campaign for justice. Sir Alan Bates has agreed a multi-million-pound settlement with the government for more than 2 decades after he began the campaign for justice for post office operators over the Horizon IT scandal. He had previously accused the government of presiding over a quasi-kangaroo court system for compensation, and last year said the post office operators may return to court over delays with settling claims. The 17-year-old was knighted last year and was portrayed by the actor Toby Jones in the ITV hit drama Mr. Bates via First at the Post Office, which brought the plight of the post office operators into national spotlight. Bates revealed in May that he had been handed a take-it-or-leave-it compensation offer of less than half of his original claim. Bates, who led the campaign and that ultimately turned into what had been called Britain's biggest miscarriage of justice, said the final offer amounted to 49.2 of his original claim. Sky News had reported that his original claim could have been in the region of £10 million, indicating a final settlement of government between 4 and 5 million. We can confirm Sir Alan's claim has reached the end of the scheme. The process has been settled. The government spokesperson said we pay tribute to Sir Alan Bates for his long record of campaigning on behalf of victims and have now paid out over 1.2 billion to more than 9,000 victims. Lawyers representing Bates have been contacted for comment. More than 900 post office operators were convicted of offences including fraud, false accounting and theft between 1999 and 2015 after the faulty Horizon IT systems falsely showed that money was missing in branch accounts. The convictions were overturned by an unprecedented act of Parliament last year. And earlier this year, Bates accused the Department of Business and Trade, DBT, which took over the administration of the compensation schemes from the Post Office, of reinitiation on assurances that they were set up. Sub-postmasters' compensation scheme has been turned into a quasi-kangaroo court in which the DBT sits in judgment of the claims and alters the goalposts when it chooses, he told the Sunday Times in May. More than 550 post office operators were vindicated in 2019 when a 400-page judgment found the faulty system relied upon to secure the convictions were not remotely robust and that the Home Office agreed to pay £58 million to settle the claims. In July, the first volume of public inquiry into the scandal led by retired High Court Judge Sir Y. Williams was published with findings including that at least 13 people had taken their own lives as a result of being accused of wrongdoing by the Post Office. The offer of 49.2 came after Bates's case was addressed by Sir Ross Cransman, a former High Court judge, who adjudicates on cases in which a claimant disputes a compensation offer from the government and then objects to the result of a review by an independent panel. Well, I'm happy there's been an agreement in that. Generally happy about the agreement. You know, it's obviously the government have taken out a lot of money already, which is a good sign. And I just hope that everybody just gets the compensation they deserve. And I just want closure. I just want closure for them. I really hope they get that closure because that's the main thing I want, guys. Yeah, if you haven't already, please hit the like button, guys. It really does help support the channel. If you can, please do that. Concerns raised over planned second removal of Iranian who returned to the UK on a small boat. Lawyers tell the Home Office about the health issues of a man who says smuggling gangs make it too dangerous for him to go back to France. An Iranian man who returned to the UK on a small boat after being sent back to France under the one-in, one-out scheme is facing his second removal on Wednesday despite mounting concerns about his vulnerability. He is being held in a UK immigration detention centre about receiving hourly welfare checks by staff because of concerns about his mental health. He claims he's been a victim of modern slavery at the hands of smugglers in northern France. If I thought France was a safe place for me, I would never have come to the UK, the man said. He's appealing for another safe country to grant him sanctuary because the UK plan to remove him immediately. So this here is another example, and we already knew this as well. Another example of the one in, one out scheme that doesn't work. So we've just wasted our own money deporting him, and he's come and he got sent back to France, and he basically went back on a boat and came back over again because he won't stay in France. He's not gonna stay in France. He's appealing for another country to take him sanctuary. He doesn't know where to go. I believe the UK is a safe place for me, away from smugglers in France. I cannot go back there because it's dangerous for me. Only my body can go back there, not me. I'm a human being, and my life will be finished there. I think the UK forgot about humans, the man said. UK has closed the door on me and I'm appealing for another safe country far from the smugglers such as Canada to grant me protection. He's previously said the smugglers are very dangerous. They always carry weapons and knives. I fell into a trap of human trafficking network in the forests of France before I crossed the UK from France for the first time. They took me like a worthless object, forced me to work, abused me, and threatened me with a gun and told me I would be killed if I made the slightest protest. The man arrived in the UK for the first time on August 6th and was returned to France on September 19th. He then came back to the UK on a small boat on the 18th of October and claimed asylum. Although trafficking indicators were raised, the Home Office made a remission request to France for him on the 21st of October, which was accepted on the 21st. His trafficking claim was referred to the National Referral Mechanism for consideration, but was rejected on the 27th of October. His lawyers raised concern with Home Office officials about him stating his documents. We are of the view about his health is rapidly deteriorating and he is requiring urgent assessment and sustained support. Request from his lawyers for a time extension before removing him in order to obtain expert evidence relating to this man's case in relation to scarring as a result of torture and trafficking were rejected by the Home Office. He's been given an appointment for assessment of what is known as Rule 35, which assesses concerns about vulnerability to immigration detainees, but the appointment is for the 6th of November, the day he's planned removal from the UK. According to the documents, Home Office officials acknowledge that while asylum seekers can access public mental health care in France, capacity and language barriers can hinder access in practice, they added. Adequate steps will be taken in the UK to forestall any suicide attempts. Yeah, I don't want him taking his own life. The Home Office and the French Interior Ministry have been approached for comment on this. They're not going to talk about this specific subject here publicly, but torture in Israeli prisons rose sharply during the war, says Free Palestinian author. Yeah, I'm not going to cover that here. Women must be warned of home birth risks and having access to skilled midwives, experts say. There's an exclusive there. John Lewis kickstarts Christmas countdown to the June of Night Club's classics. Another John Lewis, they are very fancy with their Christmas adverts, I will say that. Where's Piers today? I hope he has a note to explain his absence. Has Piers Morgan, has he been saying? Has he disappeared for a day? Has he? Top UK lawyer warned of a race to the bottom after Tory MP issues deportation threat. Phillipson calls for less public debate on the ECHR on gender recognition rules. Less public debate. Less public debate. Has urged Equalities Watch to focus on more on helping ministers do their jobs and less on having public debates, and the row continues along. They'll take the invitation rules on gender reconciliation. Are you fucking stupid? Are you fucking stupid? Like, once again, you ignore the LGBTQ community. What again? You're not taking their rights into any of this. You want to have less conversation about it because you don't like the reality that you're omissioning a section of society. You can't handle the fact that you're pushing out a section of society that can't even go to the bloody bathroom because you have a problem with it. It's pure racism. Sorry, I need to... for fuck's sake. Gotta be kidding me. The comments by Phillipson as Equalities Minister. Equalities Minister as well. Absolute joke. Urging the government to act with speed. You can't act with speed on this. A decision that delighted gender-critical advocates. The UK Supreme Court ruled in April that women and sex inequalities referred to only biological... I hate this. When is the ECHR going to step in? I'm just seeing if the ECHR said last month that this interim advice had been withdrawn, taken down from the website. After the guidelines were ready for approval for Christmas. Whatever, they're going to anger a lot of people, and it's going to be discriminate. They're being discriminate. They know they're being discriminate. Trans people should not prejudge discrimination of who they are. Well, unfortunately, they are because of how little care you have for them. Government source said this was told, and also said this is long legal. Ah, feck's sake. I hate this. I don't like talking about it, but I hate the fact that they're not taking it seriously. I hate it so much. Like, why can't we just let them just be themselves? Like, why is it so fucking hard? Honestly, I hate this so much, and I hate that the government took the court side in this as well. I really hate that. I just absolutely hate it. I really do, guys. Just a reminder, got about 10 minutes left, guys. So if you want to financially support me in the work that I do, you can leave a super chat down below. Help get to today's super chat goal. Exclusive £20 billion taxpayers, cash lost to COVID fraud, and debt that may never be recovered. More on Reeves' tax rises. Scrapping 2-child benefit cap for all still possible. It is possible. And she should do it. There should not be an argument about it. It should be done. Why trains feel unsafe from police shortages to absence of life-saving kits. No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree it's unsafe. I just think, you know, it was a freak. It was a freak thing that what happened. It doesn't always happen. It's a very rare thing to happen. £20 billion of taxpayer cash lost to COVID fraud and debt that may never be recovered. Amount lost to fraud and loan defaults is more than a penny on income tax. Do you know where that 20 billion should come, guys? If we can't recover it, it should come straight out of the public, not straight out of the Conservatives' finances. The Conservative Party's finances should pay up for it because they were the ones in charge. It should come directly out of their budget. Oh, I'm sorry. You owe us £20 billion. What? We don't owe you £20 billion. Yeah, you guys threw away £20 billion worth of taxpayer money. Yeah, you guys need to cough up and pay back for it. The Conservatives should be paying that. Not the public. The Conservatives should be paying that £20 billion taxpayer loss to come straight out of their coffers. That's where it should come from. Don't care if it bankrupts their party. They took money from us. House of Dynamite warns on flawed nuclear missile defense is accurate. Top general says a top general. UK Baltic front line against Putin propaganda under threat from aid budget cuts. UK has lost momentum. Has lost momentum for war readiness and relies on enemies to leave us on loan. Yep, that's true. Any other interesting stories? Dick Cheney, the former US Vice President, has died at the age of 84. Rest in peace. Any other stories that we're interested in? Just seeing if there's anything else here. The free vitamins and minerals you may not know you're definitely in a diet there. Here's where and how to get the morning after pill in pharmacies for free. The move could benefit tens of thousands of women according to NHS England. How often should you brush your teeth according to scientists? In the morning and before you go to bed. Twice a day. The standard has always been twice a day. Are you going to say something different then? The habit has now been questioned after it's claimed it may be better to clean your teeth once daily and then do a poor job twice a day. But a dental expert quoted in a BBC article in the session that he has been misinterpreted. He meant to say that people should clean their teeth extra thoroughly once a day, as well as doing a regular 2-minute clean for the second brush of the day. For most patients, expect them to brush twice a day and once a day, very thorough cleaning. I can. Oh, feck off, iPaper. They want me to pay for reading that. I will say this, like I can understand people probably don't brush as well in the evening as they do in the morning, but it should be a caveat. You should be doing it twice a day. Do it twice a day. New Yorkers fear deranged Trump civil war on the city is about to begin. Yeah, I'm so scared about what the Trump administration is going to do to Zoran Mandami in New York if he wins. Generally worried about it. Going to talk more about that later as well. And stuff about business there. Got about 6 minutes left. Let's switch gears. Just some of the stories there from the iPaper. Trying to take ground from the fash is a silly game, says Scott. If she was doing what is right, she would close the tax loopholes and tax the very wealthy, says Reg. Yep, we have lots of I wish like the likes of Amazon, Google, and whatnot would pay their fair share of tax. I want them to pay their fair share of tax, but they won't do anything about it. They should be paying their fair share of tax. It's not like they're going to up and leave. They're not going to up and leave because they make a lot of money from us. But we just want, like, just businesses. Never mind the richest. Like, there's a lot of businesses that don't pay enough tax, and Amazon being one of them. Yeah, but those loopholes do need to close. You're absolutely right. Sky News here. Anything that we haven't already seen? Most of the stories will be pretty much the same, I expect. Jeremy Corbyn reveals the number of people who have joined your party. So what's the number then? Insiders fear the factional infighting has spurred members into joining the rival Green Party led by Zach Polanski. Yep. Your party membership stands at 50,000. Sky News can reveal the figure is well short of the 800,000 people who expressed interest when it launched. It is significantly below the 100,000 and 200,000 insiders hope would join officially as members followed its launch in July. Yeah, because of the mess ups that we're making along. People signed up for it, but people didn't actually join because they were seeing what was going on. Puts Arsenal Jeremy Corbyn led party close behind the Liberal Democrats, whose membership's fallen to 60,000. Excuse me, sorry, stomach's playing up a little bit. They deem to be respectful for those involved in the party. The membership update has been taken as a warning to the factional infighting between Mr. Sultan and Mr. Corbyn, has damaged its hopes of immediately building as a mass movement. He's expected to announce it at rally. Well, I'm assuming he announced it then. 50,000 people have now become members of your party. The major milestone reflects on what your party is all about. Look, give it credit when credit is due. They got 50,000 members to sign up. It's still good, but it should have been a lot more. Should have been a lot more. Strangulation to be banned. We said that already. Don't think anyone's going to argue that. Analysis piece is there. Let's have a look at the front of UK politics there. Emergency workers have to tell parents their child has died in a car crash. An eyewitness. Oh God. Huge hikes in Ibiza, Majorca, and Mallorca tourist tax has been proposed. If it's stopped, okay. Southport triple killer father said he was a good boy despite school knife scare. Inquiry hears. Those are some of the stories there from Sky News. Some of the ones we've already seen there, to be fair. For the Ollie Appreciation Society, thank you, Stephen Banker, for the £2 super chat. Thank you. Ollie appreciates that as well. Ollie appreciates that super chat. Ollie appreciates that. So thank you, Stephen Banker. I appreciate your super chat. Thank you there. Not going to get today's super chat goal, unfortunately, but thank you for those who thank you, Alistair and Stephen Banker, who did give super chats this morning. Appreciate it. Like I said, got about 2 minutes left, so let's have a quick look at the last two stories here. The Telegraph here. Reeves preparing the Break Manifesto pledge. Huntington suspect linked for 4 crimes before attack. Prince of Wales amazed locals with beach volleyball skills in Rio. Farage abandons unrealistic tax cut plans. Christians now watch their families burned alive in Nigeria. Now Trump is threatening to invade. Do you actually have people on the ground, Telegraph, or are you just putting that out there just to claim that Nigeria are doing that? Exclusive BBC doctored Trump's speech. Internal reports reveals, apparently. They're making that claim. It's a torture video shaking Israel to its core. I'm not going to talk about it here. French taxi driver acquitted of stealing incoherent David Lammy's luggage. What? A French taxi driver has been acquitted of stealing David Lammy's luggage. What? Christian, yeah, inside the communist hike as well. That's some of the stories there from the Telegraph. No, don't be silly. Like, if you can't afford, don't be silly, Scott. You don't need to. Nobody here needs to justify if they can't. You don't need to justify in any way, shape, or form. I've always said the same thing to everyone here. Make sure you take care of yourself first and foremost. Take care of yourself. Take care of your friends and family. If you can financial support, great. If you can't, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it if you can't. Everyone needs to take care of themselves first and foremost. So that's the most important thing. So if anyone can't support, it's fine. Honestly, if you can't do that, the best thing you can do in a non-financial manner. Hitting the like button, sharing, subscribing, commenting on my videos, watching my videos, doing all that stuff is the other thing you can do, guys. So don't feel guilty if you can't support in any way, guys. If you can't financially support, don't feel guilty at all. Honestly, you don't need to. If you can't, don't worry about it. Let's see what else there is here. Just looking at byline times before we go. Nigel Farage says minimum wage should be cut for young people. They've got exclusives here saying Russia's phase 0 is here and war with NATO is now inevitable, experts have warned. How the not so independent media censors criticism of its billionaire owners. The UK must only distance itself from Elon Musk and SpaceX, warns parliamentary report as well. Those are some of the stories there from Byline Times, guys. Right, so we've come to the end of it's 12 o'clock here, so I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's come along. Thank you guys for all your comments, and thank you guys all for being here. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Alison Keir and Stephen Banker, for those super chats. I really appreciate your support there. I understand like I said, I know not everybody's got money. It's fine. Don't feel bad about it. Honestly, you know, I had a very, very generous donation super chat from Stephen McMorran last night, giving 50 New Zealand dollars. Was extremely generous of him from last night's live stream, there. So, which really will help a lot there. So honestly, like, I understand not everybody can, so don't feel bad about it. But anyway, guys, I'm going to be back in about 6 hours' time for global news. Going to be covering news from outside the UK. I'm going to be talking about Zoran Mandani, and because we have the New York mayoral race going to be happening today as well. So I'm going to be interested to see talking about that. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow as well. I'm looking forward to talking about it as well. So there's going to be plenty to discuss tonight, as well as other news going on outside the UK. So if you could join me for global news, feel free to do so tonight. So yeah, I'll be back in 6 hours time, guys. But if you can't join me for that, I'll be back again tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. for another good morning show. But on your way out, if you can, please hit that like button, share this across social media, subscribe if you haven't already. Do check out Rumble and Patreon as well. Exclusive content is dropped on those platforms as well. It's free to watch content on Patreon and Rumble there. So if you guys want to check them out, links are down below for them as well. And I hope to catch you all very, very soon.